When it comes to achieving lasting success, there's one principle that stands above all: discipline beats talent every time. Talent is a great gift, but it's discipline that truly moves the needle. Talent can open doors, but without discipline, those doors will eventually close. It's discipline that keeps you moving forward day after day, even when the excitement fades and the challenges grow. You may have seen it yourself. People with incredible natural ability sometimes fall short, while others who may not be the most talented, but who commit to their goals with discipline, rise above. That's because discipline is the real game changer. It's the consistent effort, the willingness to show up even when it's tough, that ultimately leads to success. Talent will get you in the door, but discipline will keep you there. It's not just about raw ability, it's about the daily choices you make to stay committed, to keep pushing even when the results aren't immediate. That's where true growth happens. In this video, we're going to explore how discipline is the secret to turning your potential into success. Whether you're looking to build a career, improve your health, or achieve personal goals, discipline is the key that unlocks the door to everything you want. Stay with me as we dive into how discipline, not talent, will help you achieve the success you've always dreamed of. Let's get started. Number 1. Discipline is the great equalizer. Discipline changes everything. It doesn't matter where you start in life or how much talent you have, it's discipline that can truly take you far. It's the great equalizer, putting everyone on the same level when it comes to what they can achieve. Talent might give you a good start, but discipline is what helps you finish strong. Without discipline, even the most talented person can fall short. But with it, anyone can achieve greatness. Think about it. Talent might open a door, but discipline is what keeps it open. Discipline is about doing the work, even when it's hard. It's about showing up every day, not just when it feels easy or convenient. It's what makes the difference between wishing for something and actually making it happen. Consistency is the key. It's not about doing something big once in a while, it's about those small, steady efforts over time. Anyone can work hard for a day or two, but the person who keeps at it day in and day out is the one who truly succeeds. Discipline means taking responsibility. It's saying, I'm going to do this because it matters no matter how you feel in the moment. Many people think they need motivation to get started, but motivation is unreliable. It's like a spark, it comes and goes. Discipline, on the other hand, is steady. It's like a fire that keeps burning because you fuel it every day. Discipline doesn't care how you feel or what mood you're in. It simply asks, will you do the work? The best part about discipline is that anyone can develop it. You don't need to be special or talented. You just need to make the decision and follow through. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. At first, it might feel hard, but over time, it becomes a habit, something you do without even thinking about it. Let's look at what discipline does. It takes your goals and turns them into reality. Setting goals is important, but they mean nothing without action. Imagine someone who dreams of writing a book but never puts in the time to write, or someone who wants to get in shape but skips their workouts. Talent won't save them, discipline will. It's the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. The beauty of discipline is that it doesn't care about your circumstances. It doesn't matter if you face challenges or had a rough start. Discipline is always available to you. It puts the power in your hands. When you act with discipline, you're taking control of your future. You're saying, I might not have all the advantages, but I'll work for what I want. What does discipline look like in daily life? It's waking up early to work on your goals. It's choosing to focus on what matters instead of wasting time on distractions. It's making the tough choice to stick to your plan even when it's uncomfortable. Discipline pushes you to grow. It gets you out of your comfort zone and into a place where real progress happens. True discipline is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. It's easy to stay on track when someone's there to hold you accountable. But discipline comes from within. It's about keeping promises to yourself. Every time you do, you're building trust in your ability to follow through. You're proving to yourself that you can depend on your own effort. Some people think discipline means giving up fun or living a rigid life. But the truth is, discipline gives you more freedom. When you're disciplined, you're in control. You're not ruled by impulses or distractions. You're able to make decisions that align with your values and long-term goals. That kind of freedom is powerful. Discipline also builds confidence. Each time you stick to your commitments, you're showing yourself that you can handle challenges. This confidence spreads into every area of your life. When you trust your discipline, you start seeing obstacles as opportunities to grow, not as reasons to give up. If you want to build discipline, start small. Choose one habit and stick to it. Maybe it's drinking more water, going for a walk each day, or writing down your goals every morning. The action itself doesn't have to be big, it just has to be consistent. Over time, those small wins add up and give you momentum to take on bigger challenges. Remember, discipline isn't about being perfect. You'll have days where you slip up, and that's okay. What matters is that you get back on track. Discipline is about showing up, even when it's hard. It's about committing to the process, not just the results. Discipline is what sets achievers apart. It doesn't matter how talented or lucky someone is, discipline is what keeps them moving forward. It's available to everyone, no matter where you start or what obstacles you face. When you choose discipline, you're choosing progress, growth, and the chance to reach your full potential. So start today. Build your discipline and watch how it changes your life. Number 2, invisible work behind success. Success is often celebrated in public, but what people don't see is the invisible work that happens behind the scenes. That's where the real magic happens, not in the applause or the recognition, but in the quiet, consistent efforts that nobody notices. This invisible work is what separates those who merely dream from those who achieve. Think about the stories of people who seem to make it overnight. It's easy to get caught up in their moment of triumph and forget the years of dedication that led them there. Behind every great achievement is an untold story of late nights, early mornings, and countless sacrifices. It's the hours spent practicing when no one else was watching. It's the determination to keep going, even when progress felt slow or non-existent. Invisible work is about laying the foundation. Imagine building a house. Before the walls go up or the roof is installed, there's a foundation that needs to be strong and stable. The same principle applies to success. The foundation is built through discipline, through the small, daily actions that often feel unremarkable but are absolutely essential. The challenge with invisible work is that it's not glamorous. There's no immediate reward, no cheering crowd, no one patting you on the back. But that's exactly why it's so powerful. It's the work you do because you're committed to your goals, not because you're seeking approval. It's the work that strengthens your character and prepares you for the moments when your efforts finally pay off. Let's take an example from sports. A professional athlete's performance on game day is only a fraction of the story. The real work happens during practice, the endless drills, the conditioning, the hours spent analyzing and improving technique. The audience only sees the highlight reel, but the athlete knows it's the invisible work that made those highlights possible. The same is true for anyone pursuing a goal. Whether you're studying for an exam, building a business, or learning a new skill, it's the work you do when no one is watching that matters most. It's waking up early to study while the world is still asleep. It's staying late to finish a project even when you're tired. It's choosing to focus on your priorities instead of distractions. One of the hardest parts of invisible work is staying motivated when results aren't immediate. Progress often feels slow, and it's easy to question whether your efforts are making a difference. But this is where discipline comes in. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward, even when the payoff feels distant. It's trusting that the work you're doing now will lead to results later, even if you can't see them yet. The beauty of invisible work is that it builds resilience. Each time you push through doubt or fatigue, you're strengthening your ability to handle challenges. You're proving to yourself that you have what it takes to keep going. And over time, this resilience becomes one of your greatest assets. Invisible work also shapes your habits. The small actions you take each day might not seem significant on their own, but together they create momentum. When you consistently show up and put in the effort, you're building a routine that becomes second nature. This routine is what keeps you on track, even when motivation fades. Think about someone learning to play an instrument. At first, the practice sessions might feel tedious. It scales drills and mistakes. But over time, those hours of practice add up. The musician's fingers move more fluidly, the notes become second nature, and the music starts to flow effortlessly. What seemed like invisible work in the beginning transforms into a visible skill that others admire. Invisible work isn't just about achieving external success, it's also about personal growth. Each time you show up and put in the effort, you're becoming a better version of yourself. You're developing qualities like patience, perseverance, and self-discipline. These qualities don't just help you achieve your goals, they enrich every aspect of your life. It's important to recognize that invisible work isn't always easy. There will be days when you feel like giving up, when the effort feels overwhelming, or when you're not sure if it's worth it. These moments are a natural part of the journey. What matters is how you respond to them. Will you let doubt hold you back, or will you choose to keep going? Remember that the invisible work you're doing is never wasted. Even if the results aren't immediate, every step you take is bringing you closer to your goals. And when you finally achieve those goals, the satisfaction will be even greater because you'll know how much effort it took to get there. One of the most rewarding aspects of invisible work is that it builds confidence. Each time you follow through on your commitments, you're proving to yourself that you can depend on your own effort. This self-trust is incredibly empowering. It gives you the courage to take on new challenges and the belief that you can overcome obstacles. Invisible work is a reminder that success isn't about luck or shortcuts. It's about the consistent effort you put in over time. It's about showing up, doing the work, and trusting the process. When you embrace this mindset, you're setting yourself up for long-term success. So don't underestimate the power of invisible work. It might not be glamorous or easy, but it's what truly makes the difference. Each time you choose to put in the effort, even when no one is watching, you're taking a step closer to your goals. You're building a foundation that will support you through challenges and propel you toward success. Keep going and trust that your hard work will pay off in ways you can't even imagine yet. Number 3, discipline in difficult times. Life isn't always smooth. There are times when it feels like everything is going wrong. Maybe it's a tough situation at work, problems in your personal life, or just a period where nothing seems to go as planned. In moments like these, discipline becomes your best ally. It's what keeps you steady when everything around you feels uncertain. When things get difficult, it's natural to feel stuck or overwhelmed. But discipline helps you break things down into manageable steps. Instead of focusing on the big picture, which might feel impossible, you focus on what you can do right now. It might be as simple as making a phone call, organizing your space, or completing one small task. Each little step is progress, and discipline is what gets you to take that step. One of the challenges in hard times is staying consistent. It's easy to lose motivation when you're not seeing results or when the weight of everything feels too heavy. But discipline isn't about feeling motivated all the time. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. It's showing up day after day because you know that consistency is what leads to growth. Think about how routines help you stay grounded. In tough times, sticking to your routine can provide a sense of stability. Whether it's getting up at the same time every morning, exercising, or setting aside time to work on your goals, these routines act as anchors. Discipline helps you keep those anchors in place, even when everything else feels chaotic. Another important aspect of discipline during hard times is learning to manage your emotions. It's okay to feel frustrated, sad, or even angry. Those feelings are normal. But discipline helps you process those emotions in a healthy way instead of letting them control your actions. For example, instead of snapping at someone when you're stressed, discipline helps you pause, take a deep breath, and respond calmly. It's a small but powerful choice that can make a big difference. When things are tough, it's easy to get distracted. You might find yourself spending hours scrolling on your phone, watching TV, or doing anything to avoid the challenges in front of you. Discipline helps you recognize these distractions and redirect your energy. It's about asking yourself, what's the one thing I can do right now to make progress? Then you focus on that. Let's talk about patience. Discipline teaches you to be patient with yourself in the process. Progress during hard times often feels slow, but that doesn't mean you're not moving forward. Think about planting a garden. You don't see the flowers bloom right away, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. With time and care, the seeds you plant today will grow. Discipline reminds you to keep watering those seeds even when you can't see immediate results. One of the most important things discipline does is help you focus on what you can control. In difficult times, it's easy to feel helpless, like everything is out of your hands, but there's always something you can do. Maybe it's organizing your thoughts, reaching out for help, or simply taking care of yourself. Discipline keeps your focus on these actions instead of worrying about things beyond your control. Learning from others can also help you stay disciplined. Think about people who inspire you. Chances are they face their own challenges. What sets them apart is how they handle those challenges. They didn't let setbacks define them. Instead, they used discipline to keep pushing forward. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or someone you admire from afar, their stories can remind you that tough times don't last forever. Celebrating small wins is another way discipline helps during hard times. Maybe you completed a task you've been putting off, stuck to your routine for another day, or found a moment of peace in the chaos. These might seem like little things, but they're not. They're proof that you're making progress, and that's something to be proud of. Discipline helps you recognize and build on these victories. It's also important to be kind to yourself. Discipline isn't about pushing yourself to the breaking point or being hard on yourself when you fall short. It's about balance. It's okay to rest, take a break, or ask for help. Discipline means knowing when to step back and recharge so you can keep moving forward. When you look back on tough times, you'll see how discipline carried you through. It's not always about big, dramatic actions. More often, it's about the quiet strength to keep going, one step at a time. Each small choice you make to stay disciplined adds up. Over time, those choices build resilience, confidence, and a sense of control over your life. Difficult times test you, but they also teach you. They show you what you're capable of and help you grow. Discipline is the tool that turns those challenges into opportunities. It keeps you steady, focused, and moving forward, no matter what's in your way. So when life feels hard, remember the power of discipline. It's not about being perfect or never struggling. It's about doing your best, staying consistent, and trusting that your efforts will pay off. You're stronger than you think, and every small step you take is a step toward a better future. Number 4, why talent isn't enough. We often hear people talk about talent like it's the ultimate key to success. There's this belief that if you're naturally good at something, you've already won the game. But here's the truth: talent alone will only take you so far. Without effort, consistency, and discipline, even the most talented people can fall short. It's not the starting point that matters most, but how you keep going when things get challenging. Imagine someone with incredible natural ability. They might be an athlete, a musician, or a gifted speaker. At first glance, it seems like they have it all figured out. But talent is only the raw material. It's what you do with that talent that determines how far you'll go. Someone with less talent but a stronger work ethic can often surpass those who rely solely on their natural abilities. Why? Because discipline creates progress. Think about the people you admire, whether it's in sports, business, or any other field. Behind every big achievement, there are hours of hard work that no one sees. Talent might get you noticed, but discipline is what helps you show up day after day, putting in the effort even when it's hard. It's the quiet work behind the scenes that makes the difference. One of the biggest problems with relying on talent alone is that it can make you complacent. When things come easily, it's tempting to relax and assume you'll always be ahead. But success isn't static. The world keeps moving, and so should you. Discipline keeps you growing, learning, and improving, even when you feel like you've already mastered something. There's another thing to consider: talent can't handle obstacles on its own. When you're naturally good at something, the first real challenge can feel overwhelming. It's easy to question yourself, lose confidence, or give up altogether. But discipline teaches you to push through those moments. It helps you build resilience, so setbacks become opportunities to learn instead of reasons to quit. Now, let's talk about consistency. This is where discipline truly shines. Talent might get you a good performance now and then, but consistency is what creates excellence over time. It's about showing up, putting in the effort, and staying focused even when you're not in the mood or when progress feels slow. consistency builds momentum, and momentum leads to results. One example of this is the difference between someone who practices a skill every day and someone who practices only when they feel inspired. The person who shows up daily, even for a short time, will improve far more than the one who waits for the right moment. Discipline turns small, steady efforts into big achievements over time. Discipline also helps you stay humble and hungry. When you're disciplined, you're always looking for ways to get better. You're not satisfied with just being good, you want to reach your full potential. This mindset keeps you striving, even when you've already accomplished a lot. It's what separates the good from the great. It's also important to recognize that discipline applies to every area of life, not just work or a specific skill. It's about how you take care of yourself, how you manage your time, and how you handle challenges. Discipline is what helps you stick to healthy habits, stay organized, and keep moving forward when life gets tough. It's a foundation for success in everything you do. Let's look at an example. Picture two people trying to learn a new language. One of them is naturally gifted with languages, while the other struggles at first. The first person might pick up the basics quickly, but if they don't practice regularly, they'll hit a plateau. The second person, who works hard every day, slowly but surely improves. Over time, the disciplined learner surpasses the naturally talented one because they stayed committed. This doesn't mean talent doesn't matter at all. It's a great starting point, and it can give you an edge. But talent without discipline is like a car without fuel. It might look impressive, but it won't take you anywhere. Discipline is the fuel that keeps you moving, no matter the terrain. There's a phrase that sums this up perfectly: hard work beats talent. When talent doesn't work hard, it's a reminder that effort and perseverance matter more than natural ability. And the good news is, discipline is something anyone can develop. You don't have to be born with it. It's a skill you build one choice at a time. Start small. Pick one area of your life where you want to improve and commit to a simple daily habit. Maybe it's reading for 10 minutes a day, going for a walk, or practicing a skill you've always wanted to learn. The key is to stay consistent. Over time, these small actions add up and lead to big changes. Another way to build discipline is to set clear goals and remind yourself why they matter. When you have a strong why, it's easier to stay motivated. Write down your goals and keep them where you can see them. Let them remind you of the bigger picture and why the effort is worth it. It's also helpful to surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. Discipline is easier to maintain when you have support and accountability. Share your goals with someone you trust and ask them to check in on your progress. Knowing someone is rooting for you can make a big difference. Remember that discipline doesn't mean being perfect. You're going to have off days, and that's okay. What matters is that you don't let one bad day turn into a bad week or month. Get back on track as soon as you can. Discipline is about progress, not perfection. Talent might open the door, but discipline is what keeps it open. It's what helps you reach your goals, overcome obstacles, and create a life you're proud of. So if you're ever tempted to rely on talent alone, remember that true success comes from showing up, putting in the work, and staying the course. Talent is a gift, but discipline is a choice. And it's a choice that will take you farther than you ever thought possible. Number 5, example from real life. When we talk about discipline and talent, it can seem like abstract ideas, but if we bring it into real life, it starts to make sense. Look around at the people you admire or the ones you've heard about who achieved great things. You'll see that while talent might have opened the door, discipline is what kept them moving forward. Let's explore some examples to really understand this. Consider an athlete, someone like Michael Jordan. Many say he was born with incredible talent, but ask anyone who knew him, and they'll tell you it wasn't just talent that made him great. It was the hours and hours and hours he spent practicing, even when no one was watching. He wasn't the best player on his high school team at first. He was even cut from it. But instead of giving up, he worked harder than anyone else. That's discipline. Without it, his talent wouldn't have meant much. Now think about someone in the arts like Vincent van Gogh. When we see his paintings today, we think, what an amazing artist, but his journey wasn't easy. He struggled for years, painting constantly, refining his craft even when he wasn't recognized for his work. Discipline kept him going when success seemed out of reach. If he had relied on talent alone, he might have stopped creating long before anyone noticed his work. Let's shift to the world of business. Take someone like Elon Musk. Many people admire his vision and innovation. But behind that vision is relentless discipline. Building companies like Tesla and SpaceX wasn't just about big ideas. It required years of hard work, problem solving, and persistence. There were failures, setbacks, and moments where things could have fallen apart. But discipline kept him pushing forward, learning from mistakes, and finding solutions. You don't have to look at global icons to see this truth. Think about a teacher who dedicates time to helping every student succeed. They may not have a natural talent for teaching, but through years of preparation, trial and error, and sticking with it, they become great at what they do. Their students benefit not because of talent alone, but because of consistent effort and commitment. Or consider someone training for a marathon. They might not have the natural ability to run long distances at first. But through disciplined practice, running every day, following a plan, and sticking to it, even when it's tough, they achieve something incredible. They cross that finish line not because of a gift they were born with, but because of the hard work they put in. Closer to home, think about a parent raising a child. There's no manual, and talent doesn't come into play. It's the daily discipline of showing up, being patient, guiding, and caring that shapes a child's future. It's about doing the little things consistently, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. Discipline is the foundation behind so many real-life stories. Even in education, a student might not be the smartest in the room, but the one who works consistently, studies hard, and stays disciplined often outperforms the naturally gifted ones who don't put in the effort. It's not about starting strong, it's about staying steady. Think about people who change their health. Maybe they're not naturally athletic, or they face struggles with weight or illness. It's not a quick fix or a one-time effort that changes things. It's the daily discipline of eating right, exercising, and making better choices. Over time, those small actions add up to a big transformation. Now let's talk about someone learning a skill like playing an instrument. Sure, some people might pick it up faster, but the ones who truly master it are those who practice regularly. They don't skip days because they're tired or bored. They show up, put in the effort, and improve over time. That's discipline in action. Real-life examples show us that while talent might give you a head start, it's discipline that gets you across the finish line. It's not about being the best from the beginning, it's about committing to the process and sticking with it. Whether it's in sports, art, business, education, or everyday life, discipline is the thread that ties success together. Think about your own life. Is there something you want to achieve? It might feel overwhelming, or you might think you're not talented enough. But remember, talent isn't the deciding factor. It's the choices you make each day. It's showing up, putting in the effort, and staying consistent. That's what will move you forward. The beauty of these examples is that they remind us success isn't reserved for the naturally gifted. It's available to anyone willing to put in the work. Talent might shine bright at first, but discipline is the steady light that never fades. The question isn't whether you're talented enough, it's whether you're disciplined enough to keep going no matter what. Number 6, how to develop discipline. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's a skill you can develop just like any other. It takes effort, practice, and patience, but the good news is anyone can build it. Let's talk about how you can strengthen your discipline step by step and use it to create the life you want. Start with your goals. It's hard to be disciplined if you don't know what you're working toward. Take a moment to ask yourself, what do I really want? It could be improving your health, learning a new skill, building a career, or even strengthening your relationships. Write it down, make it clear. A clear goal gives you something to focus on, and focus is the foundation of discipline. Once you have your goal, break it down into smaller steps. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with discipline is that they try to take on too much at once. If your goal feels overwhelming, it's easy to give up. Instead, think about what you can do today, this week, or this month. If you want to get fit, start by committing to a 15-minute walk each day. If you're learning a language, focus on practicing for 10 minutes a day. Small steps are manageable and help you build momentum. Next, create a routine. Discipline thrives in structure. When you set aside specific times for your tasks, it becomes easier to follow through. For example, if you want to write a book, set a time each day to sit down and write, even if it's just a few paragraphs. Over time, that routine becomes a habit, and discipline feels less like a chore and more like a natural part of your day. Accountability is another key to developing discipline. It's easy to let yourself off the hook when no one's watching. But when you share your goals with someone, a friend, a family member, or even a mentor, you create a sense of responsibility. They don't have to check in on you constantly, but just knowing that someone else is aware of your goals can give you that extra push to stay on track. Let's talk about willpower. Many people think discipline is about having endless willpower, but that's not true. Willpower is like a muscle that gets tired if you overuse it. That's why it's important to make things easier for yourself. Remove distractions and temptations that pull you away from your goals. If you're trying to eat healthier, don't stock your pantry with junk food. If you're trying to focus on work, turn off notifications on your phone. Discipline isn't about making things harder, it's about setting yourself up for success. One powerful tool for developing discipline is self-awareness. Pay attention to when you're most productive and use that time wisely. If you're a morning person, tackle your most important tasks early in the day. If you have more energy in the evening, plan your work around that. Understanding your own patterns and rhythms helps you make better decisions and stick to your commitments. Reward yourself for progress. Discipline doesn't mean you can't celebrate along the way. In fact, rewarding yourself for small wins can motivate you to keep going. If you stick to your routine for a week, treat yourself to something you enjoy, a favorite snack, a movie, or a relaxing break. These rewards remind you that your efforts are paying off and make the journey more enjoyable. It's also important to be kind to yourself when you slip up. Developing discipline isn't about being perfect. Everyone has off days. What matters is how you respond. Instead of beating yourself up, acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and get back on track. Discipline is about persistence, not perfection. Reflection is a powerful habit that supports discipline. At the end of each day or week, take a moment to look back and ask yourself what went well. What can I improve? This simple practice helps you stay aware of your progress and adjust your approach as needed. It's a way to keep yourself grounded and focused. Remember, developing discipline is a gradual process. It's not something that happens overnight. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't see results immediately, but with consistent care and effort, it grows. Over time, discipline becomes part of who you are. It's what helps you show up, stay consistent, and keep moving forward even when things get tough. So start today. Choose one small step toward your goal and commit to it. Stick to it even when you don't feel like it. Each day you practice discipline, you're building a stronger, more focused version of yourself. Over time, you'll see the results in your life and you'll know that the effort was worth it. Number 7, discipline builds character. Character is what defines who you are. It's not something you're given at birth, it's something you build through your actions, choices, and habits. And the foundation for building strong character is discipline. Discipline is like the tool you use to shape yourself into the person you want to become. It's what helps you do the right thing, even when it's not easy. Think about the choices you make every day. They might seem small, like whether to stick to your morning routine, finish that project you started, or say no to something that's not good for you. But those small choices add up. Every time you choose to do what's right instead of what's easy, you're strengthening your character. You're proving to yourself that you can be counted on to follow through. One of the most important traits discipline helps you build is honesty. Honesty starts with being truthful with yourself. Are you really giving your best effort? Are you sticking to the commitments you've made? Discipline forces you to look in the mirror and be honest about where you stand. When you practice discipline, you build a reputation for being someone others can trust because they know your word means something. Another thing discipline teaches you is responsibility. It's easy to blame other people or circumstances when things go wrong, but discipline helps you take ownership of your actions. You start to realize that you have the power to shape your life through your decisions. If something doesn't go as planned, instead of pointing fingers, you ask, what can I do to improve this? That sense of responsibility builds your confidence because you know you're in control of your own path. Discipline also teaches patience. Building character doesn't happen overnight. It's a process that takes time and effort. Discipline helps you stay the course, even when progress feels slow. Think about planting a tree. You don't see results the day you plant it, but with consistent care, watering it, giving it sunlight, it eventually grows strong and tall. That's how character works too. The little things you do every day might not seem like much, but over time they make a big difference. Another way discipline builds character is by teaching you self-control. Every day you're faced with choices that test your willpower. Do you give in to the temptation to procrastinate, overspend, or overindulge? Or do you stick to your goals and stay focused on what really matters? Discipline helps you say no to distractions and yes to what aligns with your values. This self-control strengthens your character because it shows you can handle challenges without losing sight of what's important. Discipline also teaches humility. When you commit to something and work hard at it, you start to understand that success doesn't come easily. It takes effort, persistence, and often the help of others. This realization keeps you grounded. It reminds you to stay humble and appreciate the process. Humility is a key part of character because it helps you connect with others and remain open to learning. Let's talk about consistency. Discipline helps you show up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. Whether it's showing up for work, sticking to a workout routine, or simply being there for your loved ones, consistency is what builds trust. People know they can rely on you because you follow through. This reliability is a cornerstone of good character. It shows you're someone who takes their responsibilities seriously. Resilience is another important part of character that discipline helps you develop. Life isn't always easy. There will be setbacks, disappointments, and tough times. Discipline is what helps you push through those moments. It's what keeps you going when things get hard. Over time, this resilience becomes a defining part of your character. You become someone who doesn't give up no matter what challenges come your way. One of the beautiful things about discipline is that it helps you build a strong work ethic. Whether it's your career, your education, or a personal project, discipline teaches you the value of hard work. It's not about being perfect, it's about showing up and giving your best effort. This commitment to doing things well becomes a habit, and it shapes how others see you. They know you're someone who takes pride in what they do. Discipline also teaches gratitude. When you put in the effort and see progress over time, you start to appreciate the journey. You realize that success isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about the lessons you learn and the growth you experience along the way. Gratitude adds depth to your character because it keeps you focused on the positives and reminds you to value the effort it takes to achieve something meaningful. When you're disciplined, you also develop empathy and understanding. Because discipline requires you to manage your emotions and reactions. Instead of acting impulsively, you learn to think before you respond. This self-awareness helps you relate to others better. You become more patient, more understanding, and more willing to see things from someone else's perspective. These qualities make you not just a disciplined person, but a compassionate one. Building character through discipline also gives you a sense of pride, not arrogance, but quiet confidence. It's the kind of pride that comes from knowing you've stayed true to your values, that you've worked hard, and that you've overcome challenges. When you look back and see how far you've come, you feel good about who you are. That's what strong character does. It gives you a sense of fulfillment and purpose. As you continue to practice discipline, you'll notice how it changes not just your actions, but your mindset. You start to see challenges as opportunities to grow. You become more focused, more determined, and more capable of handling whatever life throws at you. Discipline shapes you into the best version of yourself, one step at a time. Remember, building character isn't about being perfect, it's about making progress, learning from your mistakes, and staying committed to your values. Discipline is the tool that helps you do that. It's what keeps you on track, even when the road gets tough. And over time, those small, consistent efforts add up to something truly remarkable, a life of integrity, purpose, and strength. So if you want to build character, start with discipline. Make it a daily practice. Focus on doing the right thing, even when it's hard. With time and effort, you'll see how much it transforms not just what you do, but who you are. Number 8, the cost of regret vs. discipline. What will it cost you if you don't do the work? If you don't make the effort? If you keep procrastinating or waiting for the perfect moment? It's easy to get caught up in the comfort of today, to put things off until tomorrow, but I want you to consider this: the cost of regret is far higher than the cost of discipline. Regret is something we all experience at some point in our lives. It's that feeling that creeps up when we realize we didn't take action when we had the chance. It's the "I wish I'd done this differently," or "if only I had taken that step" kind of feeling. And it hurts. The pain of regret can stay with you for a long time, much longer than any temporary discomfort you feel from doing the hard work. And let me tell you something, when you look back on your life, it's not going to be the hard days of discipline that you regret. It will be the days you let slip by, the days you didn't put in the effort, the days you decided to put off your dreams. We've all been there. It's easy to think you have all the time in the world, that you'll get to it tomorrow, that today's too difficult, or you're just not in the mood. But here's the reality: tomorrow becomes next week becomes next month, and next month turns into years. And before you know it, you've wasted time that you'll never get back. You've put off the things that matter most, and now when you look at your life, all you see is regret. The truth is, you're paying a price every single day. And it's not just the price of missed opportunities, it's the price of feeling like you're not living up to your full potential. It's the price of knowing deep down inside that you could have done more, that you could have been more, but you chose not to. You chose comfort instead of action. You chose convenience instead of discipline. You chose to stay where you are instead of pushing yourself forward. Regret is a heavy weight to carry. It's like an anchor that holds you down, keeping you stuck in the past. It's the thoughts that keep you awake at night, the what-ifs that never seem to go away. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets to break free from that weight. It becomes a cycle of procrastination, where every day you avoid taking action just makes it harder to start. But here's the thing: the longer you let that cycle continue, the more regret you're building up. And trust me, regret will cost you far more than discipline ever will. Let's put this into perspective. You've got a goal, a dream, something you want to accomplish. Maybe it's something big, something that scares you a little, but it's something you've always wanted. Now you have a choice. You can either take the disciplined path, getting up every day, doing the work, making the effort even when you don't feel like it, pushing through the challenges and setbacks, or you can choose to put it off. You can choose to ignore the hard work for today and promise yourself that you'll get to it tomorrow. But every time you put it off, you're not just postponing the work, you're postponing your growth. You're postponing the feeling of accomplishment, the pride of knowing you did what needed to be done. You're also building up a deeper sense of regret, one that will weigh on you as time passes. And here's the thing about regret: it doesn't just vanish. It doesn't disappear because you ignore it. The longer you wait, the more regret grows and the harder it is to escape it. Now, let me be clear about something. Discipline doesn't mean it's always easy. It doesn't mean that you'll wake up every day feeling excited to work hard, or that things will always go smoothly. Discipline is about doing what needs to be done, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable. Even when it feels like the easier choice is to just do nothing and hope things magically get better. But here's the beauty of discipline: every day you show up, every time you push yourself to do the work, you're making a deposit into your future. You're paying the price now so you won't have to pay the higher cost of regret later. You're setting yourself up for a future where you look back and know that you gave it everything you had. You won't look back on your life and wonder, what if I had just tried harder? Because you'll know that you gave your all. And that's what matters. The cost of regret isn't just about missing out on the things you want to achieve. It's also about the toll it takes on your confidence, your self-worth, and your peace of mind. Regret eats away at you slowly, bit by bit, and it can leave you feeling like you've missed your shot. It can rob you of the energy and motivation you need to take action in the future because you're so caught up in what you didn't do in the past. But discipline, on the other hand, empowers you. It builds you up. Every time you choose to take action, no matter how small, you're proving to yourself that you are capable, that you have what it takes to create the life you want. Think about it, what's worse? Going through the discomfort of discipline today, or carrying the weight of regret for the rest of your life. You have the power to make the choice now. You can choose to push through the hard days, to stick to your commitments and to do the work. Or you can choose the easier path, the one that feels comfortable in the moment but will cost you much more in the long run. Regret doesn't just stay in the past, it follows you. It keeps reminding you of the chances you didn't take, the work you didn't do, the dreams you didn't pursue. And that constant reminder is like a nagging voice in the back of your head telling you that you missed your chance. It's a voice that will never stop until you make the decision to do something about it. So when you find yourself struggling, when you feel like skipping the hard work or letting the day slip by without making progress, I want you to remember this: every moment you delay, every time you choose comfort over discipline, you're paying a price. And that price is regret. But if you can push through, if you can commit to discipline, if you can do the hard work day in and day out, then you'll be paying a much greater price, the price of building the life you want, the price of making your dreams a reality. And when you look back on your life, you'll be proud of the choices you made. You'll look back and say, I did what needed to be done. I didn't wait. I didn't let fear or procrastination hold me back. I chose discipline, and it paid off. That's the reward you get for making the tough choice today. So don't let regret be the thing that holds you back. Don't let it weigh you down. Take control of your life, commit to your goals, and choose discipline over delay. Because the cost of regret is far too high, and the rewards of discipline are worth every ounce of effort you put in. Number 9, habits make discipline easier. If you want to make discipline a natural part of your life, something you don't have to fight yourself over every day, then you need to understand this: habits are the key. Habits are the foundation that makes discipline easier to practice. When you build the right habits, discipline becomes something you don't even have to think about, it just happens. You've probably heard the saying, successful people don't make decisions every day, they follow a set of routines. And that's the truth. Successful people, whether they're entrepreneurs, athletes, or anyone else who's achieved something significant, don't wake up each day wondering if they should do the work. They have habits in place that guide them, that make the right decisions for them, even on days when they might not feel like it. The key to turning discipline into a way of life is to create habits that support your goals. Once you have those habits in place, they become automatic. You don't have to muster up the energy to make a decision each time. The habit does the work for you. It's like putting your day on autopilot, but in a good way. You've set yourself up for success because you've made the right things the default. Let me ask you, how many times have you started a new project or a new goal feeling really excited and motivated, but then after a few days, that enthusiasm fizzles out? Maybe it's working out, eating better, or studying for that big exam. At first, you're all in. But then life gets busy, distractions come up, and before you know it, that goal feels like a distant dream. What happened? Well, the problem is that motivation isn't enough. Motivation comes and goes, but habits stick. You can't rely on motivation to carry you through your life. Motivation is like a spark, it can light a fire, but it doesn't keep it burning. That's where habits come in. If you can create the right habits, the fire stays lit, even when the motivation starts to fade. And when that fire is burning, discipline becomes easier. You don't have to try as hard to get things done. The habit pushes you forward, even on the days when you'd rather not do anything. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up in the morning and think, should I brush my teeth today? It's automatic. It's a habit. You don't need motivation to do it. You don't question it. You just do it because it's part of your daily routine. The same principle applies to anything you want to make a habit. When it becomes a routine, you stop thinking about it. It's just something you do. The more you develop good habits, the easier it becomes to stay disciplined. If your habit is to work out first thing in the morning, then by the time you finish your workout, it feels like you've already accomplished something big. If your habit is to read for 30 minutes a day, you'll do it without even thinking. The key is consistency. The more consistent you are, the more these habits will become second nature. But here's the thing, creating habits takes time. You don't wake up one day and magically have perfect habits. It's a process. It's about making small, incremental changes each day. It's about showing up even on the days when you don't feel like it and gradually building that routine until it's so ingrained in your life that you don't have to think about it anymore. So how do you start building habits that make discipline easier? It starts with identifying what you want to achieve. What are the things that will move you closer to your goals? What do you need to be doing every day to make progress? Once you have that clarity, you can start to break it down into simple, manageable actions that you can turn into habits. If you want to get fit, for example, don't start by committing to an hour-long workout every single day. That's overwhelming and unsustainable. Instead, start with something small. Maybe it's 10 minutes of exercise a day. Once that becomes a habit, then you can gradually increase it. Start small, build momentum, and then let that momentum carry you forward. The next step is consistency. The key to building a habit is doing it regularly, even when you don't feel like it. On those days when you don't want to do the work, when you'd rather stay in bed or watch TV, that's when your habit kicks in. When you make your habit non-negotiable, discipline becomes easier. You don't have to decide whether or not you're going to do it, you just do it. One of the reasons habits make discipline easier is because they reduce decision fatigue. Every day we make hundreds of decisions. What to eat, what to wear, what to work on, when to sleep. All of these decisions can wear you down and drain your willpower. But when something becomes a habit, it removes the need to make that decision. The decision has already been made for you. This is why successful people don't waste time deciding whether or not they're going to work out or whether or not they're going to stick to their goals. They've already built those habits into their lives. Another reason habits make discipline easier is that they create momentum. When you build small, consistent habits, each small win builds on the last one. That momentum helps you keep going. It's like a snowball effect. The more you do something, the easier it becomes to keep doing it. And over time, those small wins add up to something much bigger. Your discipline doesn't feel as hard because it's already become part of your routine. And here's the best part: when you start seeing the results of your habits, it fuels your motivation. You begin to feel proud of the progress you've made, and that sense of accomplishment makes it easier to keep going. You'll start to realize that discipline isn't a struggle, it's a natural outcome of the habits you've built. Now let's talk about setbacks. You're going to have days when you slip up. You're going to miss a workout, skip a task, or break a habit. That's okay. It's part of the process. The key is to not let one setback derail your progress. Don't let the occasional mistake make you feel like you failed. Instead, use it as an opportunity to get back on track. Just because you miss one day doesn't mean you're back at square one. Get back up, stick to your habits, and keep moving forward. The more you practice building habits that support your goals, the easier discipline becomes. You'll start to see that discipline isn't something you have to force, it's something that flows naturally from the habits you've established. And once discipline becomes part of your routine, it becomes the thing that propels you towards success. Identify one habit you can start building today. Maybe it's reading for 15 minutes every day. Maybe it's doing 10 push-ups in the morning. Whatever it is, start small, stay consistent, and build from there. The more habits you create that support your goals, the easier discipline will become. And soon you'll look back and realize that the life you've been working toward is no longer a distant dream, it's your reality. Number 10. Short-term sacrifices, long-term gains. The road to success isn't always a smooth one. It's not a straight line from where you are now to where you want to be. Along the way, you're going to have to make some tough choices, and those choices often come with sacrifices. But here's the thing you need to understand: short-term sacrifices lead to long-term gains. The pain or discomfort you might feel today will pay off in ways you can't always see right now, but trust me, it's worth it. Think about it. If you want to get into shape, for example, you're going to have to sacrifice some things in the short term. Maybe you have to give up sleeping in, skip a few nights of going out, or even cut back on your favorite snacks. It's not easy, but those small sacrifices make room for the bigger, more important rewards that come later. You can't expect to achieve big things without making changes. You can't expect to see growth if you're not willing to give up a little comfort today for the rewards that are waiting for you tomorrow. The same goes for any goal you have, whether it's building a business, learning a new skill, or improving your relationships. You're going to have to make decisions. Sometimes those decisions won't feel good in the moment. You might have to work late, wake up early, or forgo a night out with friends. But what I want you to understand is that those are the very things that will push you closer to the life you want. It's all about what you're willing to give up today for what you'll gain tomorrow. The problem many people face is that they want the rewards without the sacrifice. They want the results without doing the work. They see other people's success and think it happened overnight, but the truth is, success is a series of choices made day in and day out. It's a lot of hard work, consistency, and yes, sacrifice, but that's what separates those who make it and those who don't. If you want something great, you have to be willing to give something up. Think about the time you've spent watching TV or scrolling through social media. We all do it. It's easy to get sucked into endless hours of entertainment. But now think about how much more you could accomplish if you spent that same amount of time working on your goals. Maybe you'd be learning a new skill, reading a book, or even taking steps to build your dream business. Sure, it might feel good in the moment to relax and take it easy, but what's the long-term cost? You're sacrificing your future for comfort today. And that's a price you can't afford to keep paying. The truth is, it's easy to give in to instant gratification. We all want things right now, but success doesn't work that way. It's the small, consistent efforts that add up over time. Every time you make the decision to skip something that doesn't serve your long-term goals, whether it's a lazy afternoon or a quick fix of fast food, you're making room for the big wins. You're investing in your future. Let's talk about building a business. If you're starting from scratch, it's going to take a lot of effort. You might not see the returns right away. In fact, you might be working long hours with little to show for it in the beginning. But here's the thing, every hour you put in, every decision you make to push through, is an investment in your future success. The sacrifices you make now, whether it's money, time, or energy, are laying the groundwork for a business that could one day provide you with the freedom and income you've always dreamed of. But none of that happens if you're not willing to make those short-term sacrifices. Think about your health for a moment. If you want to be in great shape, you can't just wish for it. You can't expect to eat whatever you want, skip workouts, and still look and feel your best. You have to make sacrifices. Maybe it's passing on dessert at a family gathering, or choosing to go for a run when you'd rather stay on the couch. It's tough, I know. But in the long run, those sacrifices will pay off. You'll feel better, look better, and have more energy to do the things you love. And it all starts with those little choices you make every day. When it comes to relationships, sacrifices are also important. To build strong, meaningful connections, you have to put in the time and effort. It might mean giving up your free time to be with the people who matter, or making tough decisions to work through disagreements. Relationships take work, but the rewards are worth it. A solid, supportive relationship will enrich your life in ways you can't always predict, and it's built on the sacrifices you make for each other along the way. It's also important to understand that sacrifice doesn't mean giving up everything you enjoy. It's about making conscious choices. You don't have to eliminate fun or relaxation from your life, but you need to prioritize the things that will get you closer to your goals. If you want to get ahead, you have to start saying no to some things today in order to say yes to the things that will help you grow. It's about finding balance and focusing on what matters most. Now, I know that sometimes it can feel like those short-term sacrifices are never ending. Maybe you're working long hours, skipping meals, or giving up weekends to work on your dreams. But I want to remind you of something: all of that effort is temporary. The rewards you'll reap in the future will far outweigh the sacrifices you're making today. You just have to trust the process. Imagine looking back 5 or 10 years from now. If you make the decision to work hard now, to sacrifice a little comfort, where could you be? What could your life look like? What dreams could you have accomplished? The sacrifices you're making today are paving the way for the life you want tomorrow. And when you reach that point, when you look back and realize how far you've come, you'll see that all of those sacrifices were worth it. So the next time you're faced with a choice to take the easy route or the one that requires sacrifice, remember this: short-term sacrifices lead to long-term gains. The temporary discomfort is nothing compared to the rewards you'll receive. Success takes time. It takes effort. It takes commitment. But if you're willing to make those sacrifices today, you're setting yourself up for a future that's worth every ounce of work you put in now. Stay focused. Keep making those small sacrifices. They'll add up over time, and before you know it, you'll be living the life you've always wanted. Your future self will thank you for the sacrifices you made today. Discipline is what will carry you through. Talent is great, but it's discipline that's going to get you where you want to go. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, and sticking with it even when it's tough. That's what truly separates those who succeed from those who don't. If you're ready to make discipline your ally, start by focusing on small daily habits. They might not seem like much at first, but over time they'll lead to big changes. Trust in the process, keep putting in the effort, and watch how discipline turns your dreams into reality. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope today's video has inspired you to embrace discipline in your own life. The future you want is within reach. You just need to stay committed, stay disciplined, and keep moving forward. You've got this.